Right, ladies, I'm just going to go through what we did last night so that if anybody wants to have a little look at it again, you can actually refer to it. Start off with a slip stitch, remember, get the hole and then pull that on, and there's your stitch to start. Okay, if you remember, we did chains, and so not too tight on your hook. And remember that to do a chain, oh, let me just remind you of how I did my water on my hand. Round that finger and then round that finger. And remember, the middle finger and the thumb hold your work where you're actually doing your stitches. So to bring the stitch through, point your hook down to the floor because it's easier to come through the stitch. That's one chain, and there is your stitch. Same thing again, and we just did 11, so I'll do 11 again. I would say that as I do it, I keep putting my finger up, and it keeps that row of stitches, those chains, flat. If you don't hold it, it can sometimes twist, and then it's really difficult to see where the stitches are. I think you can see each stitch there. Look, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'll do 8, not too tight because you've got to bring your hook through it. 9, 10, 11. Right, now we came back then doing double crochets across this row, starting in the second chain from the end. Now I am going to show you how I do my first row by putting the hook underneath the V of the stitch, because then no matter what row you're on, you'll always put it under the V of the stitch, okay? It's a bit of a fiddle on the first row because you can't just put it in anywhere. So you bring your hook, use your thumb and your thumbnail to ease the hook in under one side, and then you see I'm pushing it over the top. So now that hook is now under that one stitch, and with a double crochet, remember, we bring it through that stitch. So you've got 2 things left on your hook, round the hook, point it down and pull it through. We'll do that again now. Look at the next stitch. We now go to the next V, that's the next stitch. You do one side at a time, you push it over the hook to get it under the 2 sides, look. Okay, and we push that, pull that through. I'll do that again. To the next V stitch, under there, and under there. And this is why I said this first row is a fiddle, because this is, you're having to fiddle it across with your nail to get it over your hook. It only happens on the first row. Okay, there's the next one. Going there, hold your work. This finger and thumb, very important. You've got control. And this finger actually controls the tension of the wool. Through one side, then the other. 2 on your hook and pull it through. Remember, you can twist this. Don't hold it too tight. So keep it quite slack so that you can actually twist it easily. Next stitch. Pull that through. And then next stitch. There it is, you can see the 2 on the hook. And pull that one through. And then we go through that one. And pull it through. And we're to the last 2 stitches here now. And pull that through. Remember, these are called double crochet, apart from if you're American, and they're called single crochet. And that gives you the first row. Right, okay. And so now you can see the row of 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches. And if we were going to do the next row coming back as a double crochet again, if you remember now, we chain 1 and turn. And then we do a row exactly as we've done there, going into each stitch, going across there. I won't do that again because you've seen me, oh, I suppose, no, I will do it because that was a different row. So on this time, because it's there, you need to pull it towards you to see where the stitch is, and it goes underneath the V of the stitch. Pull through, over and out. Under there, again, pull through and through. Here's your next stitch, through the 2, underneath the 2, you push it through. There we go, underneath the 2. There we go. In underneath, pull it through, and then through the 2. This is a much easier row to do. You can see it. That first row is the only one that's a fiddle. We're nearly to the end of this row. There we go. So we're to the end of that row. And that's what it looks like. Now then, I'm just going to do a row now of trebles. So instead of 1 chain at the end, remember we did 2. 1, 2, makes it higher because the treble stitch is a bigger stitch. It's exactly like a double, except you put the wool around the hook first and then put it into your stitch and pull it through, and now you have 3 stitches left on your hook. Round the hook again and through the first 2, round the hook again and the last 2, and that's your treble. And so it's round the hook, in the stitch, through, so you've got 3, through 2, through 2, round the hook, in the stitch, through 2, through 2, in there, through 2, through 2, and that gives you that taller stitch. So those were the 3 stitches that we learned last night: the chain, the double crochet, and the treble crochet. The treble crochet in America is called a double crochet, just to confuse us even more. But we call them double crochets and treble crochets. There's no such thing as a single crochet in British patterns. Okay, so I'm almost to the end now, look. And there you can see round the hook, in the stitch, through 2, through 2, last stitch, 3, through 2, through 2. So there we are, girls. That's just a little reminder that perhaps might help you, Chris, as well, for when your hook comes, you'll be able to see what we did last night and then have a practice. Okay, bye.